today with the founder of the Future Forest Company, Jim Mann. Why did you end up building the Future Forest Company, or why did you end up building a forest company focusing on soil, focus on regeneration?
Originally, I grew up on a dairy farm in the north of England. Then I went to study ecology at university, and that's kind of where I went off track, I guess. I knew about climate change quite early on, so was well educated in what was happening. But I was also confident that governments would sort that, because that's really government's job. And as you watch that over 15 years and see that nothing's happening, then you start to think that maybe actually there's other ways to do it. And that's where I ended up 5 years ago, with a good income, not needing to actually go to work for that income, so that I could sort of spend time unpaid, really figuring out what I wanted to be doing and combining. And we're still not acting. You can't take a view of what's happening today as real action. It's not at the scale that the problem demands. So we're still in that cycle of whether it's denial or inaction. So as things stand, this cycle globally removes between 10 and 100 million metric tons of CO2 from our atmosphere every year. It's one of the key geological sinks for carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, which is why we haven't yet fully cooked. To increase that cycle and the speed of that cycle, we take certain types of rock, we grind them up into a fine dust, and we put them onto the ground. And then we wait for it to rain. And that increases the rate of the reaction and allows us to remove a lot more CO2 from the atmosphere through that process. The big difference is that enhanced weathering is permanent. Once that process has occurred, that carbon dioxide is locked up in geological formations. So you're talking 100,000 years to 1 million years, depending on which pathway it goes. But all of that carbon is permanently removed. So in human terms, we don't have to worry about it again. By fixing it through biochar process, that carbon will stay as effectively a powdered charcoal, which we can put back into the soil, where it helps improve the soil, but also stores the carbon for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Yeah, you wouldn't see a huge difference between what we're doing on the ground and another reforestation project. We hope that the trees will grow quicker, and we're not far enough into it to know that yet, but the biochar acts as a fertilizer as well. So not the biochar acts as a soil amendment, so it'll help against drought and will store nutrients. The enhanced weathering material actually acts as a fertilizer. It releases cations, which, depending on what state the soil is in, will cause the forest to actually grow quicker as well. I think there's a piece of understanding how to scale the business, how to grow the business, because that's ultimately where they get the returns from.